Tucked away in the corner of one of the displays was a toy character. He was all red except for his big eyes and wore a bow tie and a boater hat. You know the hats, the ones similar to gondola drivers. Who is he? Stay tuned to find out. Welcome to Pop Culture Passport, your ultimate guide to quirky and cool destinations across the US. I'm your host, Beth Scalacci, aka the Roman Yeti, here to help you dive into the world of theme parks, uncover film and TV locations, and explore quirky museums, roadside attractions, and legendary venues that capture the heart and soul of this unique country. So grab your pop culture passport and let's discover destinations that resonate with your interest, not just with what's trending on social media. Are you ready? Let's roam! Welcome back. Today I am finally sharing with you the trip we took to the Jell-O Museum a few months ago, and that museum is located in LeRoy, New York. And yes, it's spelled LeRoy, but my husband, who's from Western New York, has told me it's LeRoy, so I wanted to make sure I got the pronunciation correct. And this town has a big history, and it goes beyond being the birthplace of Jell-O. So settlers arrived there in 1797 and they built cabins along the state road, which was a major route connecting Albany with Niagara Falls. Now, the town was originally called the Ganson Settlement, but it officially became LeRoy in 1813, and it was named after Herman LeRoy, a wealthy merchant from New York City. Now, one of the town's natural treasures is its limestone deposits, which were used to build homes and churches and factories, as well as railroad bridges. Now, their industrial history doesn't just stop there. It has been home to a salt company, a plow company, a canning company, and so much more. Its factories have produced railroad cars, carriages, patent medicine, and steel chest. Now, in addition to all that, Leroy is also known for its contributions to women's education, with Ingram University, one of the first women's college that operated there from 1837 to 1892. And additionally, the town played a big role in the Underground Railroad, helping those escaping slavery find freedom. So while we did not get a chance to explore everything in the town, I think we would definitely head back and check some of the other things out. It was just your cute, quintessential Western New York smaller town. So where did we go? Like I said, we went to the Jell-O Museum, and it is nestled, and I use that word with love. It is nestled between the historic Leroy House and a quaint local baseball field. Um, that's where you find the Jell-O Museum. And this is where you can discover how this iconic dessert really became part of our culture for generations. And as we pulled into the parking lot, we were just greeted by this unexpected sound of a string concert taking place in the garden between the Leroy House and the museum. And so it was just sort of a really fun, unexpected treat that as we were walking in, just had that experience as well. So we learned so much about Jello, and I want to share some of the history of Jello as well as the museum. So in 1897, Jello was born, as I said, in Leroy, and it's all thanks to a man named Pearl Bixby Waite. Now, Waite wasn't a chef or anything; he was actually a carpenter. But apparently, he wasn't satisfied with just building things. He started experimenting in the kitchen, combining gelatin with fruit flavoring and sugar, and that's how Jello came to be. So, what were the first four flavors? Those were strawberry, raspberry, orange, and lemon. I mean, the classics, right? And here's another fun fact. Pearl's wife, May, is actually the one who came up with the name Jello. So we're going to give her credit for the marketing there and coming up with the very catchy name. Unfortunately, here's the thing. Waite wasn't exactly a marketing genius. So as much as he tried, he and May just couldn't sell the stuff. So in 1899, they sold the Jello name and formula to a local businessman named Orator Frank Woodward for just $450. $450. Now, back then, I'm not really sure what that would equate to now. But given what Jell-O has become, that is quite a deal. So Woodward was the guy who really made Jell-O famous. He knew how to market it, and by 1902, Jell-O was being advertised as America's most famous dessert. His secret weapon? This is genius. Recipe booklets and national ads that made it seem like Jell-O was the thing every modern household needed, and it worked. By the early 1900s, Jell-O was a staple in kitchens across America, and what really blew my mind was learning that Jell-O was the first dessert that didn't need to be made from scratch, and that's how it was marketed door to door with these coupons and recipe booklets, and it really changed how people thought about having sweets at home and how it changed entertaining because they didn't have to bake a cake from scratch. They could easily mix this up, get it in the fridge, and serve it. So, over time, though, Jell-O didn't just stay a dessert. It became this huge part of our food culture. I mean, remember the weird sort of gelatin salads you would have at like family gatherings? Yeah, that's Jell-O's legacy. And now today, Jell-O is owned by Kraft Heinz. And while it's not quite the cultural phenomena it once was, it still holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts, and it may still be in your fridge. So you might be wondering, how did the Jell-O Museum come to be? Well, it all started in 1997 when the good people of LeRoy decided that Jell-O's 100th birthday was definitely something worth celebrating in style. And that's when the LeRoy Historical Society stepped in and opened the doors of the Jell-O Museum. The museum occupies the first floor of the building that it's housed in, and while it may not be huge physically, it's just packed with so much information and history that it feels like you're getting, a full semester course on Jell-O's impact. And one of the super friendly staff members greeted us and shared with us the origin story of Jell-O, and it really was so helpful in sort of setting the stage for the rest of our visit and understanding how it came to be and how it became so popular. So from there, we were free to wander through the exhibits at our own pace, and there was so much to take in. Like I said, it's not physically huge, but the exhibits are cool. It's just well laid out, and there's just so much to look at. And what really grabbed my attention was the history and the evolution of advertising. I mean, we've talked about my background with marketing, and to see the old recipe booklets that were distributed door to door and these beautifully illustrated print ads. I mean, you could just see how Jell-O became part of everyday life and entertaining. Like it wasn't just a dessert, it became an event at, at gatherings. And they even had some recipe examples to browse. One that just really made me laugh. It was called Blue Goo Volcano. So picture this. It's berry blue finger jello chopped up and mixed with Cool Whip. And then it's poured around an upside down ice cream cone to look like a volcano. I mean, it's totally the kind of thing you would have seen at a kid's party in like the 70s or 80s, and it just made me laugh and smile. The museum also showcases a ton of Jell-O branded products. And again, showing how it was part of our lives, part of our culture. I actually spotted a model railroad train car with a Jell-O logo, and it triggered this memory. I'm like, gosh, that looks exactly like one that my dad had on his train platform. So I did. I had to text him a picture, and I was like, "Did you have one?" And he did, in fact, confirm that he still has it, and it was just neat to see sort of that little piece of nostalgia that takes you back to your childhood. And then there were so many fun facts. Like, I mean, seriously, did you know that the official state snack of Utah is Jell-O? Well, now you do. And hopefully, maybe that'll win you a round of Jeopardy or local trivia. So now hopefully I'm helping you out there. But my two favorite displays really were the list of Jell-O flavors over the years and the wall of Jell-O molds. So, as I mentioned earlier, the first four flavors were raspberry, strawberry, lemon, and orange. But some of the more unusual flavors really caught my eye. Like, did you know there was once a coffee flavored Jell-O in 1918? It only sold in certain regions, and I don't know if it's genius or gross. I'm not sure if how it would be. There was also a cola flavored Jell-O in 1942, but that got discontinued after just a year. And then from 1961 to 1965, they even released some like salad flavors, like celery and mixed vegetables. I mean, I've heard of Jello salad, but I always thought they were like the sweet with fruit, not celery and mixed vegetables. So no, I'm gonna pass on those, but thanks. I definitely would have tried the cola and coffee, but no to the celery and mixed vegetables. And the list of flavors was so fun to browse, but the wall of Jello molds stole the show for me. It was huge. Um, they had vintage metal molds that were in all shapes and sizes, hearts and fish and pigs, and even pineapples. And then there were more modern, like plastic and silicone ones, and these designs ranged from hockey pucks to King Kong. Like, it was just wild to see how creative they got with Jello and how it, like, kept up with what was popular of at the time, totally, again, part of pulp culture. Um, and, you know, there's also if you wanna be a little more focused and be a little more interactive, they have, a scavenger hunt for you to do. Julia did that and had a good time. She was able to, find everything. But here's something you may not be expecting at a museum dedicated to Jello, and that's a transportation gallery. So, located in the basement of the building, this gallery offers really this whole different slice of history, and it focused on various modes of transportation that had been important to LeRoy area over the years. It was like stepping into a complete different world after all the Jello, bright colors, and fun up there, but, I mean, it was so cool. This gallery included a range of vehicles and artifacts, like horse-drawn carriages, early bikes, vintage cars. There was a, Jello, like, delivery, vehicle. It was really cool to see how transportation has evolved and really, like, you're close to it. It's not like a faraway display, like, you could really see the details of everything. So, if you're a transportation history buff or you're just curious how people got around back in the day, definitely check out the transportation gallery while you're at the Jell-O Museum. So let me give you a little logistics and what you need to know for your visit. Leroy is about 30 miles from Rochester and about 60 miles from Buffalo. So it really is a perfect day trip destination if you're in either one of the cities or you're driving through on your way to like Niagara or something. It's just this really cool piece of Americana. So the Jell-O Museum is open from the first Thursday in May to the last Sunday before Christmas. It is closed on July 4th and Thanksgiving, and its hours during the week, it is closed Monday through Wednesday. Thursday through Saturday, it's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Sunday, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Be sure to check out their website because I'm sure those times change and you don't want to show up if it's not open. So, what are some other things to do in the area? Like I said, there's the LeRoy House. It's located at the same address as the Jell-O Museum. It's in the front. You pass by it as you go to the parking lot. But the LeRoy House really offers a unique opportunity. You can like explore it's a historic 19th century mansion. Um, it once belonged to Jacob LeRoy, a prominent landowner, and it's one of the town who was one of the town's early settlers. And the house is really a reflection of the area's affluent past and just sort of gives you a view of how life was at that point. Now, you can also visit the original Jell-O factory, which is located at 128 North Street. Um, you can't there's just a marker, there's like a blue history marker up there, but at least you can stop by and sort of see the factory and, just see where it all started while you're checking everything else out. So, like I said earlier, this was just a really fun day trip, and it's really worth stopping if you are in the area. Um, it was just really fun and interesting to know that such an iconic part of our lives started in this small town in Western New York, and it started with a carpenter and his wife. And like I said before, what really struck me about the advertising and the flavors and the molds and even the promotional products was just how Jello has always known what was popular at that stage in history and really just ingrained itself into part of our American life. So, who was that little red guy I described in the teaser? Well, that was Mr. Wiggle, and he was a promotional puppet created to advertise their new product by the same name, Mr. Wiggle, which was artificially sweetened gelatin for children. Ads this cracks me up. This is so not 2024. Ads told kids that Mr. Wiggle tastes like candy, but there was no sugar, so you could eat all you want. If you visit the museum, be sure to look for Mr. Wiggle. It's a lot of fun. So next week we are going to get a little spooky now that it is October, and we're going to talk about cryptid locations throughout the U.S. We're going to talk Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and Willow Creek, California. You do not want to miss this one. And now it's time for this new segment I am calling Yeti's Pop Picks, where I just share a little tidbit or two that really caught my eye during the week. And this week I have two for you. One is there is a James Bond exhibit at the Griffin Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago, and the exhibit runs until October 27th. So if you are in the area and are a Bond fan, you may want to check it out. According to the website, and I'm quoting them, you will go behind the scenes to learn how the Bond production team harnesses real world science to craft 007's on screen adventures. See fantastical gadgets created for the Bond films alongside real life inventions they prefigured. I don't know. Seems pretty cool. If I was in the area, I would definitely go check it out. Also, this thing kept popping up on social media because I think it takes place at different locations throughout September. But I kept seeing pictures, and I had to look it up. It's called the Roper Romp. The Roper Romp is a costume bar crawl inspired by the iconic character of Mrs. Helen Roper from 70s sitcom Three's Company. And apparently the participants dress up as Mrs. Roper, complete with her signature catkins, curly hair, bold jewelry, and it's a pub crawl. So check out if your area has one, if you're into that. It definitely caught my eye. So I had to share it with you. And with that, we add another stamp to our pop culture passport. I hope this episode inspires you to get out there and explore all that is quirky and cool, even in your own backyard. Follow, download, and subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Please tell a friend and leave a review. It really helps more people discover us. And you can also follow me on Instagram or Facebook. Just search The Roaming Yeti. Keep roaming.